Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Week 6 Monday Night Football Showdown slate on Draftkings. We got the Broncos and the Chargers playing on Monday night. Broncos playing for, I believe, their fourth primetime game this season. Obviously the Broncos have not been a fun team to watch, especially on primetime, but we got a decent game here. I always get excited to watch Justin Herbert, to watch the Chargers. We got, I think, a 44.5 total in this game, or 45.5 total. Right now, the Chargers are favored by 4.5. And we got another showdown slate with, $1 million up top. Got a millionaire maker. So we're going to talk through things like we always do. We're going to go kind of from top to bottom, hit on all the playable guys, all the guys I do have interest in on this slate. But before we do get started with the video, make sure you guys hit that like button down below. Always appreciate you guys checking out these showdown videos each week. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And also, if you are new here, make sure to check out the sponsor of this video, Prize Picks. So Prize Picks, they are a player prop based DFS site. It is very simple and easy to use. You're just taking more or less on a player's projection. They have a lot of projections posted for Monday night's game. You can take a look at their full board, see everything they have available. If you see any projections that you like, again, you're just taking more or less. If you have a lean one way or the other, you have to make at least 2 picks, but you can make up to 5 picks, and you can win up to 10 extra money. You can also mix and match sports on Prize Picks, and do want to mention that the NBA regular season does start on Tuesday. I will have NBA content rolling out this week. Probably sometime on Monday, sometime Monday afternoon is when I'll start posting some NBA videos. I'll have a video for the 2-game DFS slate on Tuesday, and I also have a video for Prize Picks talking through some player props I like for Prize Picks for NBA on Tuesday night. But if you actually take a look on the screen right now, Prize Picks is running a great promo where if you take Steph Curry's points prop, which is set at 0.5, this is a free square, a free pick that Prize Picks is giving you. Obviously, you're going to take Steph Curry to have more than 0.5 points. And you can just find any other pick you like to pair with that, and it does not have to be an NBA pick. So if you don't know anything about NBA, you can look at the NFL board and you can pair anything on the NFL board with the Steph Curry free square. You basically are going to triple up your money, assuming the pick that you pair with it you get right. And it's an easy way to make some some money, especially if you're early into Prize Picks. If you're just signed up. Hopefully it's something that can help you, build your bankroll. Now there is a limit on this promo. I think it's a $20 limit or $25 limit. But you don't have to put all that on one entry. You don't have to put $25 all on one entry. You can break it up. You can do like 5 different $5 entries, all with the Steph Curry free square. But definitely take advantage of this kind of stuff. Make sure that when you guys do sign up for Prize Picks, use promo code NOAH. You'll get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. So if you do deposit $25, Prize Picks will match that. They will give you an additional $25 to play with, and now you basically have a free $25 that you can use all on this free square, which does it's going to be available until Tuesday night at 10 Eastern time, 10 at night when that Lakers and Warriors game starts. So again, make sure you guys are taking advantage of these type of promos. Prize Picks does run these a lot. I'm sure they're going to run even more promos during NBA season. And again, I'll have some NBA picks posted for Prize Picks sometime on Monday afternoon. So if you are playing NBA this season, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are, definitely check those videos out on Monday, sometime in the afternoon. But let's talk about this showdown slate for Monday night. Let's start off at the top and just kind of work our way down. So at the top, most expensive option on this slate is Austin Ekeler coming in at $11,400. And Austin Ekeler, he's expensive, but he's worth the salary. We know the role that Austin Ekeler is going to have in this Chargers offense. He's not a workhorse back. He doesn't play on like 80, 90% of the snaps like a guy like Saquon Barkley does. But Ekeler is going to get volume. He's going to get opportunity. And when he's on the field, he's going to get touches. Last week, he got 20 touches. And I believe he only played on like 59% of the snaps last week. 59% of the snaps last week for Ekeler. Still got 20 touches, 16 carries, and 4 receptions. We know that Ekeler is one of the best pass-catching running backs in the league. He's going to get a ton of opportunity in the passing game, so he's pretty much game script proof. If they're playing with the lead, Ekeler's going to be out there. If they're playing from behind, he's going to be out there catching passes. His role is just really, really good in this Chargers offense. I will say that he's run really hot on touchdowns lately. After getting no touchdowns their first 3 games of the season, he has scored 5 touchdowns over their last 2 games. I'm sure that's going to regress a little bit. But clearly, Austin Ekeler has a good role in this Chargers offense. He's going to be involved a ton. He's a really good running back. I don't think this is like the best matchup by any means. Denver's defense is pretty solid, but Eckler's just going to get all the opportunity. And at $11,400, he's still one of the better plays on this showdown slate. But then we'll talk about the quarterbacks. So we got Justin Herbert at $11K, and we have Russell Wilson at $10K. I think both Herbert and Wilson look like pretty solid plays here. I think they're both very high floor options. And if you're playing cash games on this showdown slate, I think playing both quarterbacks does make some sense here. Herbert, we haven't seen like that massive ceiling from him this season. We haven't seen that, 30, 35 point game yet, but we know he's got that in him. He can throw for over 300 yards and multiple touchdowns any week. Again, this is, not the best matchup. Denver's defense is really good. They've been really good limiting opposing quarterbacks. They're actually allowing the third fewest fantasy points to quarterbacks this season, but Herbert's, going to get 30, 40, 35, potentially 40 pass attempts. The volume's going to be there. He's still going to be missing Keenan Allen, but he's got Mike Williams. He's got Austin Eckler out the backfield. He's got enough weapons in this Chargers offense that I wouldn't be surprised if Herbert puts up a good game here. And I think, again, you're kind of playing him for the floor. Is he someone that I would put like in the captain spot? Like, I don't know if I'd be playing him at captain. I think I'd rather go to a guy like Eckler or Mike Williams or even some of these other pass catchers like, maybe Cortland Sutton. But definitely in cash games, I think Herbert's a strong option. And, obviously in the flex spot in GBPs, he would definitely make my roster construction. I just don't know if I'd be playing him at captain just because, if he does put up, let's say he does put up 30, 35 DraftKings points tonight, there's a good chance that, if he has a big game like that, that, potentially Mike Williams is a big beneficiary. If Herbert throws for over 300 yards and multiple touchdowns, I would assume that, Mike Williams is probably having a really big game as his number one target. But yeah, if Herbert has a big game and like all of his touchdowns are kind of spread out and he doesn't like lock in on one receiver, he could wind up being the winning captain, but I don't think I'm going to be using him at captain that much. And same with Russell Wilson. I don't think I'd use Russell Wilson a ton in the captain spot, but definitely in the flex spot, he makes a lot of sense. He's obviously someone you can use in cash games as well. Russell Wilson has not shown much upside this season. He's really only had like one or two good games. Week 1 against Seattle, he had just over 20 DraftKings points. Week 4 against the Raiders was his best game of the season, 237 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also had a rushing touchdown in that game, had 27 DK points. He's not looked good lately. I mean, that primetime game last Thursday night against the Colts, I mean, he looked terrible. He threw, 2 picks, didn't get in, didn't find the end zone. I mean, Russell Wilson's definitely been a big disappointment this season, but I think he's still a good quarterback. I think he still offers some upside for fantasy. He does have some good weapons in Denver with Cortland Sutton, with Jerry Jeudy. Again, I don't think Russell Wilson's going to be the highest scoring player on the slate, but I think I would say he's pretty likely to give you 13, 14, 15 DK points at the worst here. And that floor is going to make him a solid option regardless. I think for cash games, he makes a lot of sense. And even in tournaments, I don't mind putting him in the flex spot. Just don't think I'd use him at captain a ton. Now, a guy that I think you can use at captain is Mike Williams. We've seen Mike Williams just show a ton of upside, over 100 receiving yards in 3 out of his last 4 games, back-to-back 100 receiving yard games. He's been getting massive volume. He's been the clear number 1 target for Justin Herbert lately, and that should continue with Keenan Allen doubtful. Keenan Allen is not expected to play tonight, so we should expect probably double-digit targets or close to that once again from Mike Williams. He leads the team with a 23% target share this season, has 44 targets through their first 5 games, so he's averaging almost 9 targets per game. Volume's going to be there. He's a really talented receiver. Matchup is pretty tough. I'm sure he's probably going to see a lot of Patrick Surtain, who's been a really good cornerback this season, but I don't get too worried about wide receiver cornerback matchups. I think for the most part, they're kind of overblown, and especially for a guy like Mike Williams, who is a really talented, high upside receiver, you can play him no matter what the matchup is. Don't think it's the best spot for him, but I would definitely bank on talent here, bank on volume, and we know Mike Williams has the upside to be one of the highest scoring players on this slate. So he is someone that I do like quite a bit at 10,600. And then you get down to this mid-range where I think there's some pretty solid plays. So you got Cortland Sutton at 8,400. Very similar to Mike Williams. Cortland Sutton just continues to see a ton of volume, averaging close to double-digit targets per game this season. On the year, he's leading the team with a 28% target share, has just over 9 targets per game. He's been the number 1 option for Russell Wilson. I think, it was kind of expected to be that way heading into the season. There was definitely a lot of hype around Russell Wilson and Cortland Sutton having a good connection kind of early on and in practice. And so far, that's kind of been the case. He's been their top target, leading the team in target share, leading the team in targets per game, also leading the team in air yards. I mean, he's been the number 1 guy. And at 8,400, it's not like we're having to pay a premium for Cortland Sutton. Obviously, Mike Williams has a ton of upside, but Mike Williams is also $2,200 more. I think going down to Sutton makes plenty of sense. I feel like Sutton should be priced closer to Russell Wilson. I think 8,400 is definitely too cheap for him. So I do like Cortland Sutton quite a bit here. I think that price tag is just too low for the volume that he's getting right now. And then you have Melvin Gordon at 8,200. Little revenge game for Melvin Gordon here. it's a really good matchup too. The Chargers this season have been one of the worst teams defensively against the run. They're allowing the sixth most rushing yards to opposing running backs this season. They're actually allowing the most fantasy points per game to opposing running backs. And Melvin Gordon is going to have a pretty big role with Javonte Williams done for the season. It's going to be Melvin Gordon who leads the backfield for the Broncos, and they're going to involve Mike Boone as well. But last week without Javonte, we saw Melvin Gordon get 18 touches. I believe he did play around 60% of the snaps. I'm going to check that real quick. Yeah, 56% of the snaps for Melvin Gordon. 15 carries, also had 3 targets. He's not going to get like great usage in the passing game, but I think he will see probably 2 to 3 targets at least. He's going to get probably 12 to 15 carries. If they get near the goal line, I'd assume that Melvin Gordon's going to be the guy getting the goal line touches. And again, the Chargers have been so bad against the run this season that I think the matchup's really good here for Melvin Gordon. Plus, you factor in that it's a revenge game against his former team. He does look like another solid option in the mid-range at 8,200. Straight up, I think I would prefer Cortland Sutton over Gordon here. But yeah, I definitely am interested in Melvin Gordon on this slate. And then you got Jerry Jeudy, who's kind of been like a boom-bust option lately. Jeudy has a really high ceiling, but he's also kind of shown a little bit of a low floor. Volume has been solid, but it's not been nearly as good as Sutton. So far this season, Jeudy is second on the team in target share, but he has just a 17% target share compared to Sutton, who has a 28% target share. Through their first 5 games, he's only averaging like 6 targets per game. Jeudy is, so that's obviously not ideal. But we know Jeudy offers big play upside. We know he can catch a long touchdown at any point. I think he's more of a GPP option. I don't know what his ownership's going to look like on the Showdown slate. At 7K, I think he's going to get some ownership, but I don't think he's going to be like 50, 60%. I think he'll be like 30 to 35 if I had to guess. So he's definitely in play for GPPs. I do feel a lot better about Sutton and Gordon, but I don't have an issue with Jeudy. I think obviously on a 1-game slate, you can go there. And then you got Joshua Kelly and Sony Michel, who both look a little bit too expensive. I mean, Kelly is 6,400. He's basically the RB2 right now for the Chargers. He's going to get some carries, but he's not going to get enough volume to be worth rostering at this price tag. He had a big game last week, but it was mainly due to him getting a touchdown, which was kind of fluky. Obviously, can't expect that every week. And then Sony Michel, I don't know why he's 6,200. I don't know if DraftKings thought, I don't know if Austin Eckler was injured or something. I don't know why they priced these Chargers running backs up so much, but there's basically no chance I'm playing Sony Michel at 6,200. I mean, he's their RB3. He's going to get 4 or 5 touches at most. I just don't think you can play those guys. They're pretty much out of play for me. But then talking about some potential value on this slate, we got Joshua Palmer at 5,800. He should operate as the wide receiver 2 for the Chargers, with Keenan Allen doubtful. Last week he saw 6 targets. The week before that he saw just 1 target. Joshua Palmer hasn't really done much this season, but he's been on the field a good amount, which is at least a positive. Last week he played on 73% of the snaps. The week before that, 56%. Weeks 2 and 3 he played on over 90% of the snaps. So he's going to be out there for a good amount. He's going to be running routes as well. He's not been able to really, do much so far this season. Even with the targets he's gotten, he hasn't really put up a huge game yet. But at 5,800 for a guy that's going to play probably 85, 90% of the snaps and is going to run a route on almost every one of Herbert's dropbacks, that definitely puts him in play on a 1-game slate. So I think Palmer is someone we can look to for value. Don't even hate Gerald Everett at 5,600. His targets have kind of been up and down this season, but he's the clear number 1 tight end for the Chargers. When he's out there, he's going to be running routes. He played on 65% of the snaps last week. He's basically been playing about 60 to 70% of the snaps. And at 5,600, I mean, he's probably going to get 5 or 6 targets here. I don't love the matchup again, Denver against tight ends this season. I mean, they've been about middle of the pack in terms of receiving yards, receptions, fantasy points allowed to the position. But again, without Keenan Allen, there's kind of targets to go around. I think Mike Williams is going to get a lot of opportunity. I think Austin Eckler is going to get some passes out of the backfield. But you should see some targets for Palmer and for Everett. They're both viable. Probably would prefer Palmer, but I don't mind either one. And then Mike Boone, you have at 4,800. So Mike Boone, he wasn't someone that I really considered on the last Showdown slate because he was kind of expensive. He was 6,200. Well, now his price tag has dropped down to 4,800, which I think actually makes him look like somewhat of a decent value. He did get 10 carries last week as the RB2 without Javonte Williams. 7 carries for 38 yards, and then he had 3 catches for 47 yards. Was definitely efficient with those touches. I mean, putting up 11 DraftKings points on 10 touches without scoring a touchdown is pretty efficient. I don't know if he's going to be that efficient once again. I don't know if he's going to average 5-6 yards per carry every game. but he's going to get some opportunity. I mean, they can't play Melvin Gordon on every single snap. They're going to have to involve Mike Boone at some points. I think Boone's probably going to be in there for third downs. Yeah, whenever Melvin Gordon needs a break, I'm sure Boone will be out there. Again, last week, Melvin Gordon played 56% of the snaps, and Mike Boone played 41%. It was basically, it was a little bit of a 50-50 split, kind of 60-40 in favor of Gordon. $4,800 for Boone is cheap. That I think he does make some sense. He's not like my favorite value, but he is at least playable, I think, at the salary. The defenses I'm not loving on the slate. If I were to play one of the defenses, I think I would rather go to the Chargers, just because this Broncos offense has kind of been, skeptical. Like, they've not been great. We've seen Russell Wilson turn the ball over as well. But I'm not loving either defense on this slate. I don't think either defense is going to get a ton of ownership, and usually when I do play defenses, I want to try and play them when they're low owned. You could go there, but I usually just fade the defenses and just hope that there's no defensive touchdown or anything. The kickers, I think, are fine values here. Don't know if I'd play both kickers on this slate, but one of the two kickers I'm totally fine with, just because value is a little thin. And then talking about some of these cheaper receivers, so you got KJ Hamler, who's operating as the wide receiver 3 for the Broncos right now. He's not really getting any targets though. Like last week, he only saw 2 targets. The week before that, he saw just 1 target. But he did play on 53% of snaps, and again, he's their clear wide receiver 3. They're not going to play a ton of 3 wide receiver sets. They're going to mainly just, Sutton and Judy are going to be out there for almost every snap, and then Hamler will just kind of mix in at times. If he's going to be on the field for 40-50% of the snaps, he's at least playable, but even when he's been out there, he hasn't really been able to generate many targets and get many looks. So he's definitely risky, but at $3K, I think he's at least playable, more so for GPPs. DeAndre Carter, kind of the same thing. He's going to be the wide receiver 3 for the Chargers. I feel a little bit better about Carter just because he's been able to earn more targets than a guy like Hamler has. Last week, or the last few weeks without Keenan Allen, we've seen DeAndre Carter play 65%, 74%, 70%, 59% of the snaps. He's been getting a good amount of playing time, and the Chargers, they run a lot more 3 wide receiver sets than the Broncos do. So I think Carter's definitely going to get more snaps. I think he's likely to see more targets as well. And he's only $2,600. So if I'm looking for a really cheap play on this Showdown slate, I think DeAndre Carter actually looks like a pretty good option. He's someone that I definitely have interest in as a punt play. And then you got the Broncos, who are kind of running a 3-man committee at tight end right now. You got Albert O, who's $2,400. You got Eric Saubert, who's $2K. And then Tomlinson's also been getting some playing time. But I think Tomlinson's just kind of out there for blocking. He doesn't really run many routes. So it's going to be Saubert and Albert O that are mainly the 2 guys that will be involved in the passing game. Last week, Saubert played 56% of the snaps. Albert O only played 21%. Albert O saw just 1 target, whereas Eric Saubert actually got 7 targets last week. Now, do I expect Eric Saubert to get 7 targets every week? Obviously not. But if he's going to play 50, 60% of the snaps, if he's kind of, even though they are running a committee at tight end, Saubert does seem to be the lead guy and is going to get the most snaps. And they seem to want to involve him a little bit in the passing game. So he's another guy that I think is definitely playable at 2K. He'll probably need to score a touchdown to get there. I mean, I guess he could have a game like he did last week where he gets 5 catches for 36 yards. If he does that again, he's probably going to make the optimal lineup, but you probably want him to get into the end zone. But if he's going to play 50, 60% of snaps, if he's going to be the number 1 tight end for the Broncos, which it seems like he is right now, at 2K, he's playable, in my opinion. If you're looking for another punt play, not named DeAndre Carter, I think Eric Saubert is someone that we can look to. And that's really it for this slate, man. I don't really see anything else I'm going to go to. There's nothing else down here that's playable, in my opinion. So that does it, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it did help. As always, appreciate you guys watching. Hit that like button down below. Again, if you have not yet, hit that subscribe button as well. And make sure to check out PrizePicks, guys. Sign up for PrizePicks and use promo code Noah. Again, if you look on the screen right now, PrizePicks is running a great promo where if you take Steph Curry's points prop, it's actually set at 0.5. This is a free square, a free pick that PrizePicks is giving you. You just have to find any other pick you like to pair with that. And it does not have to be an NBA pick. It can be NFL, it can be soccer, it can be whatever sport you want. I'm sure because this is an NFL video, most of you guys are interested in NFL, so you can pair this with some NFL props from this game, or you can wait till maybe, I don't know if PrizePicks will have their board posted for Sunday before this game starts on Tuesday night, but if you want to take some props for next week, if they're up, you can pair that with the Steph Curry promo. Again, this promo expires on Tuesday at 10 o'clock Eastern time when the Lakers-Warriors game starts, so make sure to get in PrizePicks, use promo code Noah, get a deposit bonus when you sign up, and take advantage of this free square promo. that PrizePicks is running. Probably won't be the last one they do. I'm sure they're going to do even more as the season goes on. But with NBA starting up on Tuesday, PrizePicks wants to build some hype around the NBA. I'm really excited for the NBA, and I'm excited to be making some PrizePicks content this NBA season. I'll most likely have all my NBA content will probably be posted sometime on Monday afternoon. So make sure to check that out if you are interested. But best of luck on this Showdown slate, guys. As always, I appreciate you watching the video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Hope you guys win some money tonight. If one of you guys, or if I don't take down this Millionaire Maker, I don't even know if I'll be entering the Millionaire Maker. I usually don't, but if I don't take down this Millionaire Maker, I hope one of you guys do. All right, best of luck tonight, guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.